We are in Jacksonville's hottest community today, checking out one of the builder's newest model homes, which is right behind me. In just a few seconds, we're gonna take a walkthrough of this beautiful model home with some amazing features that you're not gonna believe. We're also gonna dive into just what it means to live here in Jacksonville, Florida. So with that being said, let's check out this amazing floor plan now. Are you ready to check out this house? Because I know I am. All right, let's get started. So first thing you're gonna notice as we come into this Jacksonville home, this beautiful model home, is the builder here, they did the hardy board siding, which you're gonna see across the board, no matter who the builder is here in Northeast Florida, here in Jacksonville, because that is like the siding of choice. And you do get a nice front porch as well, which on a beautiful day like today, you'll love to spend your time out here on your front porch. But then as we come in, the first thing you're gonna notice, we get greeted with tons of natural light, and I mean tons. You know, because of these high ceilings, these 20-foot ceilings, when we first come into this amazing model home, is all of these, the high ceilings, all the natural light, all the windows, and you get this beautiful stairwell as well here, just to be able to really, enjoy, your entryway. Because again, here in Jacksonville, it is all about, inviting people in, having guests over. So to have all this here is amazing. And if you want to know just what it takes to get an amazing home like this with these tall ceilings and amazing natural light, reach out to me today so we can go over all those great details for what it takes and what neighborhood makes the most sense for you and your family. So first thing I want to talk about here is this really good size closet underneath the stairwell. I love when builders do this, because at the end of the day, when you do have a house, in this case, this is a 40-foot wide floor plan. When you have a house on a 40-foot wide floor plan, it's nice to be able to know that you still have plenty of space, there's plenty of room to store whatever you may need to store. So I do love seeing that. Also, another thing that you may have noticed as we came in here, this house has some very nice vinyl floors. So this is that luxury vinyl plank. And they did a nicer, almost like a grayish brown wood look color, which is something that we're seeing is still very popular here currently, here in Jacksonville, and really is a great choice when you have all this natural light. Sometimes you come into these homes and you see, more of the gray flooring. If you don't have enough natural light, it just looks too dark. Now you may be curious, what is this door going to? Why is it, a couple of stairs up in the stairwell? Well, that's a great question that I'll help answer now. So we'll go ahead and check it out now. And this door is gonna take us to our half bath. So this is the really cool aspect. Yes, it's a 2-story house. So therefore, you're gonna have, you're gonna have your primary downstairs, which we will get to shortly. And you'll have the rest of your bedrooms upstairs. But the nice part about it is they put that half bath there. That way you have your guests able to, when they first come in, use the bathroom. If they're been here for a while, they use the bathroom. Again, they don't have to go upstairs. They don't have to use the primary, because I'm sure you wouldn't want that to be used anyways. Again, it's your private bathroom, so to speak. So it's great that the builder put it there. And I love the fact that the builder actually went up a couple steps just to kind of make it more distinct, and it helps it stand out, but in a very good way. So I know you want to go see that kitchen, because I know I do as well. But before that, let's check upstairs just to see what's up there and show you just the amount of space and everything there is to do up there. So we'll look at that now. So up here, the first thing I want to just highlight, and again, we already highlighted it once before, but I want to really emphasize this because something that I absolutely love is, again, just all the natural light here with this tall 20-foot ceiling and this open railing. So when you have this open railing here, yes, that's typically gonna be an upgrade with the builder, but it really helps heighten the look of the space. It really helps distinguish it. And honestly, having that combined with the chandelier here really gives it a high-end feel, which I absolutely love. And I'd love to know what you think as well. That's just one of those things. Everyone has different things they like. That being said, as we come up here, first thing you're gonna notice, we have 2 bedrooms here and a bathroom. So if you have kids, and you want them to kind of have their own space, this is a great space for you. So before we get to the bathroom, let's look at the first bedroom. So the first bedroom here, they designed it to be more of a Florida fan. One thing about here in Jacksonville is we have a lot of Florida fans. You know, Florida, the University of Florida is only about an hour and a half away from here. And you also have Florida State, which is only 3 hours, my alma mater, by the way. And then you do have Miami, which is about 4.5, 5 hours. But because Florida is so close, you do tend to see more of a Florida, UF influence here in Jacksonville. But overall, good sized space. We have a full size bed, a couple end tables, still have room for a dresser. And then we do have a standard closet here. We're not gonna really look at it, but what I will wanna point out is they did do the more of like the French door effect here. So no bifolds, nothing like that tend to always break. So really nice choice of finishes by this builder. And again, if you want to know more about this builder, just reach out because I can help answer any questions you have about this builder or this neighborhood as we continue to move forward through this model home tour. On the other side here is bedroom number 2. So this bedroom is about the same size, doesn't have that Florida influence. In this case though, you'll notice here, Providence School Swimming. Providence, we will touch on this later in the video, but Providence has some impact here. So I'll explain that impact later on in this video and just what Providence stands for here in Jacksonville. But like I said, really good size space. We still have a full size bed here. We do have one end table, plenty of natural light. And the thing about these spaces, you may have noticed this, you may not have, is we have nice tall ceilings on the second floor, which makes the space feel that much bigger. You know, sometimes with these 2-story houses, we come into them and we get upstairs and they tend to just drop down to 8 feet. And with 8-foot ceilings, it can feel very tight, very claustrophobic. But what this builder did is they made sure there was enough height up here to give us those taller ceilings, which really make it feel light, bright, and open, even though we're on the second story. Now here in the guest bath upstairs, we do have a nice, really well-sized single vanity. Still has some room for, toiletries or whatnot, on top. And again, they did do the quartz countertops. And then we have our beautiful shower tub combo. So every house always should have one tub. In this case, they put the tub upstairs, which again, for kids makes sense. But what I do love they did here with the shower tub combo is they did do the tile up to the ceiling, which is one of my pet peeves. I love when I see the builder do that. And they did a very simple but sleek tile pattern, which I absolutely love. But wait, there's more up here still. So yes, we do have 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, but you know what's really cool too? Is this loft up here that they give for the kids to have their own space. Picture this, you're living in this house, you wanna have guests over, and let's say your guests have kids themselves and they bring the kids, and so you wanna have more of an adult time downstairs. Well, awesome, you can do that because the kids can be right up here with their own, game room, media room, to hang out, play their games, do whatever they want. And that way they have their own space and you have your own space, which really definitely does just keep everybody happy. But that being said, as we talk about downstairs, I'm sure you want to know more, see more with it. So let's go and check that out now. So we're going to now check out just what is down there. So one of the features I love with this house is this dedicated office over here. This office, it's really nicely designed. I love the built-in bookshelves that they put in here, but it's not just the bookshelves. This builder actually did sconces at the top of each bookshelf, which really just give it an elegant look, really just epitomizes what it means to live here in Jacksonville. So I love the fact that the builder did that. Now, you may be asking yourself, okay, what if I don't need an office? Well, here's the great part about this space. This can be your office, or you could make this a 4th bedroom because with this floor plan, you have that option as well. So if you want to know just what makes the most sense for you and your family and what the cost may be to do this versus doing a bedroom, reach out to me so we can go over that as well. We do have also our 2-car garage right here, which I'm not going to show you because again, it's a 2-car garage. Once you've seen one, you've seen them all. But on the other side of our office, which you do want to see, is this amazing kitchen. Now, why is this amazing? Well, it's amazing because it's a gourmet kitchen, which means that we have our vented hood up top. We have our microwave oven combo. We have our gas cooktop. And yes, I say gas. You may be watching this video and you may not necessarily be here in Jacksonville, but what I can tell you is here in Jacksonville, we don't have many communities with gas. And so to have this specific community we're here in today, which you will know more about that as we get further along in this video, to have gas is a beautiful thing that we just don't have too often. So people love communities like this for that reason. Now, a couple other things too, they did do two-tone cabinets. With the cabinets in the island, they did do a darker color. You do have your trash pull out there. And then for the non-island, they did almost like a cream kind of white cabinet. And what I love here is look at these pullouts they have. This is one of those things that people love to have. And so I love seeing something like that because it's something that's more minor, but it's just one of those things. If you're gonna build, if you're gonna go through the process of that is one of the things that we always suggest to look into, because again, it makes more sense to do it with the builder than maybe after the fact. And then again, with all these cabinets as well, it is soft close. I love soft close cabinets, so I love seeing that. We do have our fridge here. We have our dishwasher in the island. We have our nice, good sized deep sink here, single sink. And again, I love some of the hardware they chose. And they went with more of that, darker hardware throughout. It may come off a little more masculine, but overall, I do love the look of that. Because again, it's just very simple and very clean. All right, let's go ahead and check out though the living room as well as the dining room now. So with this floor plan, because of the fact it's a 40-foot wide lot, you don't necessarily have a true dedicated dining room. It's more open, it's a very open concept floor plan. So what the builder did here is they actually gave us a nice space between the living room and the kitchen to put our dining room table. So this is a 6-seater dining room table. It's a very good size. You could obviously do an 8-seater. You could do a much larger one if you wanted to. But overall, it just goes to show that you can really blend all the space together very nicely without them feeling it's all just one space. It feels like this is your dining room area, but it's still open to everything else. Also, what are your thoughts on this fixture? Very modern look to me. I'd love to know what you think about that. So feel free to drop a comment if you're just have good thoughts or bad thoughts. I'd love to know across the board. Then we have our living room. So this living room here, again, nice tall ceilings. One of the things I want to point out with this is, you may notice, but they didn't do a tray ceiling here, but what they did is they actually raised the height of the ceiling in this living room a whole nother foot. So you may think, oh, but Justin, it's just another foot. I mean, yeah, that's what she said, but ultimately, it's one of those things that having that extra height there makes the space feel bigger, makes it feel more wide open, but it also kind of gives you that transition away from your kitchen and dining to more of your designated living room space. They also did some nice sconces here. Because it's the model, they also gave us some surround sound speakers. Gotta love that. Like, again, I could just imagine, being here during a college, football game day or a, NFL, Sunday with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Even though they may lose, they lose a lot, but we still love them. And to have the surround sound speakers would be amazing, to be able to just have the game on and enjoy, having people over for the game. Another interesting aspect is that they actually did a tile for this wall here for the living room. And the tile, it's interesting. It really makes it more of a distinct space for the living room. But overall, it is one of those things too that for an upgrade with the builder, you have to kind of figure out, does it make sense for you? And if you want to know if it makes sense, or if you want to know more on just what the cost would be to do something like this, feel free to reach out to me so we can go over that as well to figure out what, may make the most sense. But overall, great size space here. Love how the flooring continues all the way throughout the house, from the foyer to the kitchen to the living. But then we get to the rest of the house. So now I want to show you this beautiful backyard. And again, I'm sure you want to see the primary too. But let's check out this backyard first, because honestly, it's a great space out there. All right, so here in Jacksonville, we love being outside. We love enjoying the nature, enjoying this beautiful weather as you're seeing here today on this video. So again, what better time to go outside and check it out than on a day like today? So here's what I love that the builder did. The builder actually gave us a hookup here. You have your gas line, you have your water line, you have your electricity. You have pretty much everything you could possibly need right here to do whatever setup you would want for your outdoor kitchen. So I love that they did that there, and they did it so that way it could all stay underneath this roof line, underneath this back porch. So again, if the weather's not as good as what you're seeing here today, you still don't have to worry. You can still come out here and do all the cooking you may want to do because of the fact that this is underneath this under roof. But let's say you want to screen it in. Well, here's the cool thing as well. Because under roof, you can easily screen it in, and it's just going to feel like you're still part of the rest of the house. So I do love that aspect as well. And again, they match the pavers as what we saw in the front yard as we came into the house. These pavers really provide a little bit of an elegant feel. It's just a nicer look than when you have just your standard concrete back porch. So it's one of those things. If you want the pavers, sometimes the builder may charge extra. So if you want to know what the cost would be to do something like this with a builder here in Jacksonville, or this builder here in Jacksonville, reach out to me so we can go over all of that as well. Because what this builder did is they actually also extended the back porch. Now keep in mind, this is not covering the same roof line, but with this extension, you do have quite a bit of pavers here. And it definitely gives you a lot more usable space, gives you less backyard. But if you don't want to be, if you're not the kind of person that wants to be cutting your grass, cutting a lot of grass week to week, because here during the summertime, it's pretty much every week. This is a great way to kind of get rid of some of that grass, but still give you a lot of usable space back here, including your own private fire pit. Because again, right now, it is a beautiful, spring day here, but the nice part about here in Jacksonville is we actually get some seasons. If you live in Tampa, or if you know people in Tampa or Miami, really anywhere in South Florida, even Orlando, you don't necessarily get seasons like you do up here. Here in Jacksonville, we actually do get some cooler weather, so it's awesome to have a fire pit like this for those December, January, February nights where it's just cold enough to have a fire going, to invite people over, and just be able to have a great ability to entertain and to hang out with friends, family, loved ones, whatever the case may be. So overall, I love the way that this builder did this backyard. It's not the biggest backyard, but they really maximized what they could do with it while keeping it fairly simple as well. So next up, let's go and check out that primary bathroom and bedroom, because you're gonna love to see what they did in there as well. So first thing you're gonna notice as we come into this primary bedroom is they tucked it away back in here. So that way, again, it truly is a private space for you to be able to get away, to be able to not have to worry about hearing as much out there. But again, at the same time, we still get tons of natural light here with all the windows, the tall ceilings, the tray ceiling. I know the living room didn't have a tray, but you know what? They at least put a tray here in the primary to give it more height, to make it feel more open and elegant. They also did some really cool sconces here. The hanging, could be wrong, it may not be called sconce, but the hanging lights here, I do love that as well. Just, again, if you're gonna do it, sometimes it's one of those things, you might as well overdo it. And so I love that the builder did that here just to show you what you can do with them. Because again, sometimes you don't know until you ask, to find out what a builder will or won't do. Some builders do more, some do less. So that's why it's important to have a realtor like myself to go through the process with, to know just what makes the most sense for you and your family to do with the builder, and figure out which builder will do what you want done as well. Now, as we come from the primary into the primary bathroom, you're gonna notice right away, it actually opens up on us. So this builder, whether if you know who I'm referring to or not, I'll tell you who they are at the end of this video, if you're curious. This builder loves to do their primaries a certain way, and the way they love to do it is they love to put the vanity against one side of the bathroom. And this vanity is a beautiful vanity. I love the color choice they did here. They are missing some mirrors because this is actually the newest model in this neighborhood, this community, which I will also mention at the end. But again, very sleek, very simple design, but really all you need. And then on the other side is our walk-in shower. So this walk-in shower, I love how big and open and wide this is. It's one of those things, I wish my shower was as big as this, but what's really cool is you don't just have the normal head, get to shower with, you also have the rain head. So with the rain head there, it's one of those things that if you have the ability to do with the builder, I always suggest it if it's something that you've ever wanted, because again, to do that after the fact, it's not what you want to do. That's one of those things, let's do with the builder if that's what the plan is. But very sleek tile choice as well. A lot of grays, a lot of just simple design there, but it works and it looks super clean. especially because they continued it up to the ceiling here with maybe a slightly different pattern for the single wall of it as well. Then we come into our primary closet, which is a very good size. You know, plenty enough room for all of your clothes. You still have the ability, you could easily put a dresser or two in here if you needed to. So overall, it really gives you everything you need here. And it's nice and convenient, you know, to the bathroom. So again, you take a shower, you get out, you come get changed, or vice versa. You need to, you know, get rid of your dirty clothes. You take them off in here, you hop right in the shower, and you get in the shower and you're ready to do some laundry. Well, guess what? You can come straight from your primary closet to your dedicated laundry room here. And so that's just a great aspect that I really love when builders do, because at the end of the day, for your primary, you don't want to have to walk outside of your closet to go through the house, to go through the living room, especially if you have guests over, to put some dirty clothes in the washer or to move, you know, clothes to the dryer. So to have that access from the closet, it's a beautiful thing that I do really like. And they do give us a station here to be able to, again, fold laundry, put the soaps for the laundry machine as well if we needed to. So it's just a good use of space. And then this door here is going to take us out to our rest of the house, our dining room, living room, all of that. So yeah, that's really, the gist of this floor plan. It has a lot of great things about it. So again, if you love this floor plan, reach out to me so we can go over more of just, what I could do to help you with it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and go over where we're at today, who the builder is, and I'm sure you really want to know just what the starting price is on a house just like this here in Jacksonville. So let's go over that now. So as I mentioned, that's going to wrap up this model home tour of this beautiful home here in Jacksonville. Here's the great thing about Jacksonville, Florida, is that you're so conveniently located to so many different things. You have Orlando a couple hours away, you have Daytona a couple hours away, St. Augustine's only like 30, 45 minutes away, and even Savannah's only a couple hours away. So you have all these other cities nearby that if you want to take a weekend trip to, you have that ability to. But here's the cool thing. This home we're in today is here in the newest and hottest community that Jacksonville has to offer, which is Seven Pines. Seven Pines is a community that has only been built out in the last couple of years, and it is becoming the premier place to be here in Jacksonville. And the reason for that are three things. One is the location. We are only 15 minutes away from the beach, which if you live in Jacksonville, that is where you're gonna wanna spend most of your time because of the fact that we do have quite a bit of beach access across the board here in Jacksonville. But we also have not just the beach, but also the St. John's Town Center. So if you're looking for a place to go shopping, a place to go to different restaurants, or just to go hang out with friends or family, St. John's Town Center is the place to go to for that. And here's the cool thing. We're less than 10 minutes. I mean, shoot, without traffic, we may be less than 5 minutes away from the St. John's Town Center. So you could not be any closer to the St. John's Town Center. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are located right next to Butler Boulevard and I-295. So you have direct access. If you need to go east, west, north, south, you have very quick and easy access to get on the highway, to go in any direction you need to from this location. But also, it's not just about location, it's also about the schools. The schools here, are some of the better schools, some of the best schools you can find in Duval County for public schools, but we're also not too far away from Providence, which is a private school, and it's only about 10 to 15 minutes away from here. And so that's why you saw upstairs one of the bedrooms. It's why you saw Providence on the wall. It's because it's one of the more popular private schools here in Jacksonville, but you have others as well as Episcopal School. You have Bishop Kenny, and honestly, one of the better private schools in the whole state, Bowles, if that's an option for you and your family as well. So if you want to know more about that, reach out to me because we can go over the different private schools, different public schools here in the area. So those are two of the main reasons, but the third one is the amenities. Seven Pines has one of the best amenities for neighborhoods here in Jacksonville because of the fact that it is one of the newest communities, and so they really put an emphasis on making the amenities as luxurious as possible. So you can see that throughout the community with things that they've done for the amenities with the walk trails, the dog parks, the amenity center. So just across the board, the developer did a great job with that here in the community. But obviously you probably want to know more too about the house. So here with this house, we are actually in the Cayley floor plan. So this floor plan is built by David Weekley Homes, one of the 2 builders here in Seven Pines. And the Cayley floor plan is actually on their 40-foot wide lot, like I mentioned. And it has a front loading garage, which is one of those things. They have 40s with fronts and they have 40s with rears. So it just depends on what you and your family prefer. But this floor plan, it has a lot to offer. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 floor plan. As I mentioned, you can make it a 4-bedroom if you didn't need this office here, although I do love this office personally. But again, everyone has different uses for it. But it also is 2333 square feet, so it's still a really good size. Sometimes you think with these 40-foot wide lots that they're gonna be small, and they can be, but this one's a very good size at 2,300 square feet, so plenty of room for you and your family to grow into as you're living here in Jacksonville and here in Seven Pines. And then as far as this builder, David Weekley, one thing I can tell you about them is when it comes to their incentives, they give you amazing incentives. And in this case, for this community, their incentives are different across the board. So if you want to know more about that, especially they also are different whether if you're building or buying with their quick move-ins. So if you want to know across the board what their incentives are for a floor plan just like this one, reach out to me so we can go over that as well. And then lastly, before I let you guys go, the price of this house, the starting price, you're not gonna believe this. It's $574,900. For here in Seven Pines, that is an unbelievable price to start off with. And obviously, one thing to take into account is this one does have a lot of upgrades. So if you wanna know what the price would be for getting a home that's spec'd out, so to speak, just like this one, like I said, you have to reach out to me. You can call me, text me, email me, blow me up, because I would love to go over all that with you, as well as giving you the incentives for the floor plan that you like the best. Because again, as you can see here, they have multiple different floor plans on multiple different, wide home sites. So if you're looking for a 40-foot wide, a 50-foot wide, shoot, they have 70-foot wide home sites. So if you want to know more about what each one of those, is, what their pricing is, reach out to me, because I would love to provide this information for you, as well as get you those most updated pricing. Because one thing about builders is their prices are always subject to change, as are their incentives. So if you want to know just what they are right this second, we just gotta talk. But that being said, I'm gonna let you guys go. And if you like this video, you're gonna notice up here on the screen is also going to be a couple other videos just like this one with some different floor plans that we have shown off here in the Jacksonville area. So feel free to look at those as well. And until next time, I'll see you guys again.